allow me to raise questions with the CS over a matter that was raised regarding his docket recently, just to provide some clarity to this House. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Human Rights Commission released a report recently on the Hustler Fund, and they found that the fund was structurally flawed, economically unsustainable, politically compromised. And Honorable Speaker, they gave specific reasons for reaching that conclusion, including a 68.3% default rate, that for every 500 shillings that is borrowed, 340 shillings is lost, that there is no regulatory or legal framework for the recovery of that money if people refuse to pay, and that the Auditor General could not render an opinion because of unavailability of documentation. Honorable Speaker, the response from the ministry, instead of giving us their own data, was that that report was biased, politically motivated. Honorable Speaker, therefore this morning I want to ask the Honorable CS, Waziri, do you have alternative facts? What is the default rate? What is wrong with the figure that was given by the Kenya Human Rights Commission of 68.3%? Do you have a different figure? Is it not true that in fact for every 500 shillings that is borrowed, 340 is lost? Isn't it in fact true, Honorable Speaker, you can shed light, maybe from the perspective of the ministry, does there exist a legal or regulatory framework for recovery of money that is unpaid? And according to the ministry, therefore, Honorable Speaker, was the Auditor General able to audit this fund and render an opinion? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Senators, you know some of the questions you might ask might not get direct response because the questions, and you look at the standing orders, you should ask a supplementary question related to the principal questions that were asked to the ministry. So you might not get direct answers, and I'm just a bit lenient also to allow such questions. But the other senators kindly stick to this principal question. Senator Derito John, Kenya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Waziri, I don't know whether you are aware whether Afya Sacco is cash-strapped, because members, when they take loan, for example, a member takes a loan of 1 million. Every time they are told you cannot get all the lump sum, you will be paid 30,000 per visit, meaning you'll have to go to Afya Sacco 30 times or more times to get your 1 million. And because you have said you are going to inject about 500 million to Musco, do you have any intention of injecting money to Afya Sacco? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator, just a minute, CS. Senator Kadri Muma.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity to ask a question, and welcome CS Wycliffe Oparanya. CS, in your response, you indicated that one of the recommendations given is that the government should inject 500 million into the Sacco. CS, as you're aware, the contributions to Saccos are actually by Sacco members. So when these Saccos collapse, and many of them are collapsing, shouldn't government be focusing on a stronger regulatory framework? Shouldn't we be putting in place mechanisms to actually penalize and hold people personally responsible for losses of money instead of taking taxpayers' monies to inject in Saccos? Are you going to inject similar amounts for Cusco, into Cusco, which has lost billions of monies for members can this really be a viable route of getting SACCOs to work, or it is another loss of public money that should otherwise go elsewhere? Shouldn't we hold those who, whether it is employers or the managers in SACCOs, shouldn't they go to jail and be held personally accountable to ensuring that monies that they are in charge of are held responsibly?
At least yours is related to the subject matter. Congratulations. Honorable CS, you cannot respond to the three. But
Mr. Speaker,
your best.
Mr. Speaker, let me address the first issue raised by Honorable Sifuna, and that's quite a different question. I want to plead with the House that you allow me to come next Wednesday to give a comprehensive report on the operations of Hustler Fund, because I think Hustler Fund has been misunderstood. And within that response that I will issue on Tuesday, I will address each of the questions that Honorable Sifuna has addressed.
Very well. But the Senate management will give you the right time that you will appear.
Okay, I will be happy to receive that correspondence.
Yeah, I will receive correspondence
and deal with it comprehensively.
Okay.
Yeah. Secondly, the issue of Afya Sacco. I'm aware that Afya Sacco has been having liquidity problems. But as I've mentioned here, some of these liquidity problems are occasioned by county governments, because most of the members of the Afya Sacco are medical staff who are devolved. Now, county governments, several county governments have deducted members' dues, but they have not remitted them in millions. And this has created liquidity problems for SACCOs. And this is what affects the Moi Sacco, Moi University Sacco. This is what is affecting Afya Sacco. And this also affecting others. And as I have said, this issue is clearly addressed in the cooperative bill that is before you. So I'm happy that now you have noted how serious this matter is. When you come to considering this matter, honorable members, I will request that you address this issue squarely in the law, so that those institutions that deduct money from Sacco members and they are not able to remit, or they divert those funds, serious action is taken against them. On the issues raised by Honorable Muma, the 500 million is not an injection that the government is going to do. It's a recommendation. It's a mere recommendation that the government should put in 500 million. But as a government, I will not go that route of making sure that we inject money in circles that collapse, because with the limited resources, the government will not be able to do that. But what is critical is that we strengthen the supervisory authority, which is SASRA. Unfortunately, SASRA has been underfunded. And because of underfunding, it has no capacity sometimes to carry out regular supervision. And we want this particular sector to be self-regulating. So self-regulating, self-sustainable. So if it's that, we are saying that levy collected from SACCOs for supervision purposes should be kept by SASRA. And this is one of the amendments that we are proposing within the Sacco Act, because this money is collected by SASRA, and it has to be forwarded to the Treasury, and then the Treasury takes time to return back the same money. And it's a levy, it's not a tax. This issue has already been addressed by the Cabinet Secretary in charge of the Treasury, and I think is addressing that particular issue. So, with what I have said, Honourable Member, we want to strengthen SASRA, which is the regulatory authority. Commercial bank, central bank supervises commercial banks. SASRA supervises the Saccos. But SASRA has no strength or has no capacity as central bank because of funding. And I've told you where the funding is supposed to come to improve that supervisory authority. The issue of Cusco, I don't want to comment on it very much because the officers who are involved in irregularities at Cusco are already before court. And the court now is dealing with that process. We have the investigation, we have already the reports. People whom they think are capable have already been arraigned before court, and the matter is now a court process. Let us wait for the outcome. But as I close up, Mr. Speaker, I think I would request that this House, when you look at, when you address the issues of the Cooperative Act 2024, please address this issue of governance within the cooperative movement, so that, and then the question of supervision, so that, and the question of deduction of members' dues. These are the three areas that have actually weakened the Sacco movement. If we seal the loopholes, I'm very certain that we shall have a very strong Saccos in this country. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Wabua Enoch. We are taking another round of 3 questions.
I thank you, the Speaker. Speaker, every time you mention my university, I have more than a passing interest. I'm a former student there, and Senator Kamara is my teacher. When the senator says that he is satisfied with the response from the CS, I get a bit worried, because that response, the Speaker, from my seat, and this is my question, is based on misleading information. On the admission of the CS, he did not know that an appeal had been lodged on the matter of Moscow. And on the basis of that information, he has crafted a recovery path for the Sacco. Now that he knows otherwise, is that recovery path still relevant? Because the Speaker, I've heard him say that some of the things that he wants to do will be perhaps there's a proposal to put in some money. There is also a proposal to liquidate assets belonging to the Sacco. But if there is an existing appeal, would that recovery path still remain as is? And lastly, Mr. Speaker, now that I have the floor, and he has committed that one day he's going to come here and speak to us about the ASLA funds, Mr. Speaker, it may turn out actually that what he knew before he became the CS is the truth, and perhaps what he knows now about the ASLA fund could also be misleading. The Speaker will wait to hear from him.
Senator Enoch Wambua, you cannot preempt the report that will be brought to this House by the CS. You wait for the report, and then you can criticize the report. Senator Mongatana Danson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, I'm so happy to hear that there are plans to revive MUSCO. Mr. Speaker, two of my brothers who are very prominent members, both one outside and one in Kenya, they went to study there. They began their academic journeys there in Moi University. And there is more than passing interest in MUSCO. So I'm glad to hear that at least there are plans for revival because the losses are massive. Just two quick clarifications from the minister. I wanted to know how much money exactly is involved because he has been talking, but he has not mentioned or referred to any figures that the liquidator is handling. I also wanted to know this liquidation of MUSCO did not happen overnight. There must have been a process of bad performance that was reported to the ministry. So can the minister